getting you ready for game time. Join me, Sal from Behind the Arc Basketball, as I announce play-by-play. Make sure to smash the like and subscribe, because now we're about to go live. Entering the pregame, we now present Sal from Behind the Arc Basketball. And what's good, everybody? Glad to have you guys back at the stream once again tonight, and we get a great matchup in store here. Some Big 12 basketball going down a couple minutes from now. We get the number 9 ranked Kansas Jayhawks taking on the number 17 ranked Baylor Bears for this matchup. This game taking place at Baylor's home court tonight. Farrell Center, Waco, Texas, and it's going to mark the 7th straight meeting that both of these teams have been ranked inside the top 25 facing off against each other. If you guys are new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. This should be a great one tonight going down. Just getting ready towards the end of this Duke-Virginia Tech game. That game is finishing up. Maybe possibly overtime. We will see if it does go to overtime. I'll get the scores up here. Once Kansas-Baylor starts, it'll probably get overlapped if it does go into overtime with a Duke-Virginia Tech game. But they're down to 25 seconds left in that game. And if somebody makes a basket and they go final, then right to the video we will go on time as Virginia Tech just took the lead. Look at that, 13.3 seconds left to go, 77-75 as we await for Baylor, Kansas here very shortly. Both of these teams opposite directions as of late. Kansas 16-3. They won 0-2 last week, though, as they're 5-2 in the Big 12. Tied for second in the conference with Iowa State and Texas. Lost 2 straight games. And that's the first 2-game losing streak since late February into early March last year. They lost those 2 games last year, both in the road towards the end of the regular season. And then they came back in a run, won the Big 12 conference tournament, and then they won all of March Madness, won the national championship last year for Kansas after those back-to-back losses late February into early March. And then Baylor, super hot right now, 14-5, 4-3 in the Big 12. But this team, believe it or not, they started off. They were 0-3 in the conference starting off for Baylor. They're up to, right now, tied for 5th in the conference with TCU. And just, oh man, every single Big 12 game, it's just right down the table. Absolute gauntlet of a schedule this season, and so many close games down the line. Glad to have you guys all on board being a part here tonight. James, welcome on board. Laszlo, Dennis. Yeah, me too, 2016 Cavs. Really thought that Buffalo was going to make it to the Super Bowl, and yeah, that was a shocker. Cincinnati with Joe Burrow just, man, they're just another animal come playoff time. Mario, Vegas, Pringle, welcome back in the stream, everybody. This should be a great game tonight going down between these two teams. I think the big matchup that we have to look for tonight, Kansas with their front court, Jalen Wilson, KJ Adams. That's their strength this season for the Jayhawks, going up against Baylor's trio of guards that they have on their team. Keontae George leading the way this season for the 5-star freshman. He's 5th in the Big 12 in scoring. And then also Adam Flagler and LJ Cryer, both of those players shooting above 39% from the perimeter this season. This is a really good 3-point shooting Baylor team. Not as strong in the past as they've been defensively. But Kansas, highly reliant upon their front court. Jalen Wilson been carrying this team last 2 games, 38 points. Last time I covered Kansas against K-State last Tuesday, and then dropped down 30 against TCU. He's going to need a bunch more help, though, for Jalen Wilson. And his guards have been just super inconsistent lately with the scoring. Grady Dick has had inconsistent games lately. Kevin McCullough had a goose egg against K-State. And DeJuan Harris has been more known as the facilitator for him. His assist numbers are up, but not really known as like a key scorer or so for the team. And then coming off the bench has been a problem as of late. They haven't really had much players make an impact off the bench for Kansas, whereas Baylor enters this matchup. They got a couple key players entering, coming from the bench here for the Bears for this season. So this should be a really good matchup between these two teams going down. So Baylor currently in their longest winning streak, 4 straight games in Big 12 conference play. They're peaking right now. 2 weeks ago, they weren't even inside the top 25. They were ranked at number 26, and now they're up to number 17 in the rankings, trying to make a run once again since they started off the season inside the top 10 in the preseason. Virginia Tech, Duke down to 3.6 seconds left to go. What a battle between these two teams for today. It looks like Kansas and Baylor are going to tip off in a couple moments. So if it does get delayed, I'll post the scores in here until we get to like the actual game or so. Looks like tip-off time will be tipping off in about 5 minutes. This is 9:07 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:07 Central for tip-off time between Kansas and Baylor. So 5 minutes from now, we will have tip-off time. Lighter slate today since it's a Monday for college basketball. They put 2 premier games on national TV. This Duke-Virginia Tech team, which this Virginia Tech team right now just 1-7 in the ACC. This would be a terrible loss for Duke as Virginia Tech goes up by 3, 78-75. They make the free throw. It's Virginia Tech. They have been struggling with injuries throughout the season. They started off 11-1 with their record, and now they're just 11-8, 1-7, or 10-1. They're now 1-7 in conference play for Virginia Tech right now, whereas Duke is 14-5. And it's just been a down season for Duke right now. This Duke team looking like they're more like probably around the bubble for them, especially if they do lose this. Virginia Tech, great free throw shooting team I know last year. If they make this one, they'd be up by 4. No, they did not. Duke comes down with a rebound. They take a timeout with 3.2. And Duke around the 300s and 3-point shooting percentage is going to have to knock down a 3 to force this game into overtime. That is a tall task here for a Duke Blue Devil team that's just not been strong from the perimeter this season. Steve, welcome in, man. Yeah, that was close there, man. You guys almost had him for Maryland. I saw Maryland back in November at Mohegan Sun. They destroyed Miami in that game. I feel like the ACC rankings right now are a little bit like inflated for some of those teams. Clemson barely escaped against Virginia Tech. They won by 1 on Saturday. It was like low scoring. I think it was like 51-50. Everybody's like, yeah, I'm buying Clemson at number 24, so they're down from 19. A lot of the analysts are like, yeah, Clemson's having a great year. I'm buying Clemson this season. They just went down 5 spots in the rankings, and ACC just been lackluster this season. They did not look the part at all against Virginia Tech on Saturday. Lucky that they're able to squeak that one out. Jerry, welcome in. Should be a great game tonight. I think it's going to be another close game down to the wire. Like one possession, I feel like, today. Make sure to vote in that poll. Who do you guys got in this one? Kansas or Baylor? So we'll be tipping off shortly, I believe 2 minutes from now. We'll be tipping off. All Virginia Tech has to do is close it out. They'll have a massive win at home against Duke. 3.3 seconds left to go for Virginia Tech versus Duke. The game are right prior to Kansas versus Baylor on national TV, but Virginia Tech will burn their final timeout. So, yeah, they'll have an inbound coming up. Both of these teams out of timeouts in a game that's wrapping up between Duke and Virginia Tech. And Duke will have to make a 3-point shot to send it into overtime. Not much going on for college hoops today. Northwestern, though, they were in a pause last week. Due to cases in their program, Northwestern did not play in the previous 8 days entering tonight. And what a win they got. Northwestern beat Wisconsin today. Final score was 66-63. Massive win for Northwestern, currently on the bubble. And Wisconsin, ranked in the top 25 a few weeks ago, they're dropping back, and yeah, they're not even close right now to the top 25 for Wisconsin. They keep on going backwards, looking like they might miss the tournament. They received 6 votes this week for Wisconsin. Duke was at 26. Indiana peaking. They crushed Michigan State yesterday. Indiana at 27. Wisconsin's at 37 right now for them, so they're still receiving votes, but they're going backwards. Evan, welcome to stream, man. Yeah, things went pretty well this weekend. I got to cover some basketball games in person this weekend. Virginia Tech's going to come up with a win. They steal it off the inbound. Hunter Couture, welcome back as Virginia Tech seals up the W against Duke, 78-75. Wow. Duke now falls to 5-4 in ACC play as they struggle to pick up another road win. Virginia Tech 2-7 now in the ACC. They could very well make a run just like last year. They lost 7 straight games in a row. Hadn't won a game in 5 weeks. And Virginia Tech, after starting 11-1, now improves to 12-8 with a win over Duke tonight. So now we're going to have tip-off very shortly. Kansas and Baylor. Here we go. If you guys are new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. This should be a great matchup between these two teams today. We get the starting lineups. It's Kansas. Go with their starters, DeJuan Harris, Grady Dick, Kevin McCullough in the backcourt. Jalen Wilson averaging 34 points per game right up there alongside Zach Edey as National Player of the Year candidate. In the front court alongside KJ Adams. Watch out for the Kansas front court tonight between those two, Wilson and Adams. Baylor. Really good team from the backcourt once again this season. Keontae George, top player to watch, averaging 17.4 points per game, 5th in the Big 12 for the 5-star freshman. He is in the backcourt along with LJ Cryer, Adam Flagler, both shooting 39% from the perimeter or greater. The front court, Flo Thamba and Jalen Bridges for Baylor. Should be a great game today. Kansas, blue uniforms for this matchup. On the road for the Jayhawks, and I think this could very well be a massive game once again for Jalen Wilson. 38 points against K-State last Tuesday, 30 points against TCU on Saturday. Baylor, white uniforms, green numbers, green letters. Mario, Mark, welcome back to the stream here, guys. This should be a tremendous matchup here. Highest scoring trio in Division I right now in that backcourt for Baylor. Keontae George, Adam Flagler, and LJ Cryer. This Baylor team, not as great defensively as in past years, but they can light it up from the perimeter. Last 4 games, taking care of the basketball, 50 assists to just 32 total turnovers. Kansas struggling with the turnovers as of late. They're going to have to take care of it if they want to win this game. That's been a major issue. 15 turnovers against K-State, and then 17 turnovers most of the season in the 80-63 blowout loss on Saturday at home against TCU. Right to left on the floor for Kansas. KJ Adams and Flo Thamba go up for the tip, and Kansas controls the opening tip first. Harris up the floor, has it first for Kansas. He attacks right to the paint, dumps it over to Wilson. Should have just went in for the layup. It was a clear hoop that he had, and he missed it off the pass, and the layup's good on the opposite side. LJ Cryer stealing basket just like that for Baylor. Got to take care of the basketball. And that's been the problem with DeJuan Harris. He has been just not aggressive, and right there being the facilitator trying to be, just dumped it down low to Wilson in traffic, and it got intercepted. He had a clear lane to lay it up and in. That's a bad first possession for Kansas. Top of the key, Wilson. Wilson at the elbow. As Baylor looking for the offensive foul. Didn't get called, though. 3 jacked up at the wing. No good. Rebound goes to Baylor. Second possession of the game for the Bears. They can go up the floor quick as well. Off the roll down. Thamba puts it up. He scores up and in. Count it in the foul. Flo Thamba for 2. Yet to go to the perimeter so far. Both buckets right underneath the rim. And what a start here for Scott Drew's squad. Abdul, welcome in. Yeah, Virginia Tech got a massive victory for them. That's a crusher for Duke there. Duke is having some problems getting wins on the road this season. Flo Thamba at the free throw line. Only averages around 5 points per game. Just like that, he's got 3 right from the get-go for Baylor. First minute in so far. If you guys are new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. Baylor comes up with a steal off the inbound, pass to the corner, 3 in the air. Missed off the side of the rim, had a great look as he was open by LJ Cryer, but couldn't send it down. Kansas comes up with a rebound. Sloppy start here for the Jayhawks on the road. McCullough sends it over to Adams, into the hands to Harris. Harris turns the corner, drives, floats up the runner, 15-footer, missed off the rim, deflected out of bounds. And last touch by Jalen Wilson. Referees are going to say for Kansas is this will be Baylor basketball. $18:35 left to go. Baylor, both buckets inside the key. Leading the Big 12 this season with over 60 made threes in the entire season. Adam Flagler attacks inside the paint, moves over to Thamba. Handoff Flagler, takes the three. Missed off the rim, a rebound controlled by Dick for Kansas. Flagler's the best sharpshooter in the team, over 45% from the perimeter. I thought he'd be the one, leading the team this season and scoring. Keontae George doing an excellent job doing that. That's a three that rattles in, and they're going to need a whole lot of that today. Grady Dick knocks down the three ball. 44% from the perimeter by Dick, 15th in Division I this season. And he has been inconsistent as of late, but if they get a great game out of him, things could look much more brighter for the Jayhawks here to bounce back. Three-point shot taken. Flagler, swoosh. Oh, man, what a release right there. Off the dribble, Adam Flagler straight away knocks it through. 17 and a half left to go. He's number 11 in Division I for three-point shooting. Right to the rim goes McCullough. That's a promising sign for Kansas. Last game I covered, Kansas versus K-State. Kevin McCullough, he fouled out, and he did not score a single bucket, averaging over 10 points per game. And just dribble drive penetration right to the rim, able to score. James, welcome back on the streamer, man. Really good matchup so far. Both of these teams playing fast tempo up the floor. Keontae George gets a touch at the wing. 17 minutes left to go in the first. George takes a deep range three. Missed off the back rim. Rebound picked up offensively in the corner by Bridges. Another chance for Baylor now. Flagler at the wing. Defended by Dick. Flagler, 12 on the shot clock. Dribbles top of the key, one-on-one on Dick. Flagler, dribble, drive, lost the ball, and get a whistle, though. Reach and fall picked up by Grady Dick. Clock will stop with 16:47. And that's going to be Dick's second. So Grady Dick had picked up a blocking foul earlier in the game. He picks up his second personal foul, and he's got both of them so far for Kansas. Baylor yet to pick up a foul. Dick with all two. So Dick heads towards the bench. They put in Bobby Pettiford into the game for the first time today. Inbound goes to Keontae George. Drives. He gets rejected. KJ Adams comes out with a monster block. The ball gets tipped back to the backcourt where Baylor's able to pick it up. Cryer on the outside, guarded by Harris. Jacks up a three. Oh, he hits it. Second made three ball of the game, this time by LJ Cryer. 39% from three this season. 5 points so far for Cryer. Harris has it. Harris drives, attacks, swings it over to Wilson, yet to score so far. And a reach and fall picked up on the perimeter by Keontae George guarding Wilson. That's the first picked up by Baylor today. 16:14 left to go. If you guys are new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Guys will like to be notified as well. Tremendous start here for Baylor right out of the gate in this game. Keontae George will check out of the game now. Heads to the bench for the first time today. Kansas gets the inbound. Pettiford at the top. Lobs it over to Wilson. Wilson yet to score so far. Back over to Pettiford. Pettiford moves it over to Adams. Passes off to a cutter. Wide open. There he is. The top scorer in a Big 12 conference. Jalen Wilson lays it up and in for two. Averaging 34 points per game in the last two. 38 against K-State. 30 against TCU in the two games last week. Other teammates going to have to step up, though, for Kansas to make this one into a great, great battle. Skip pass left corner. LJ Cryer. Cryer drives right on to Wilson, and he scores. Right hand. That's good. Up and in off the glass. That's a strong drive right there by LJ Cryer. 15 and a half left to go. Pettiford drives baseline, and bodies collide down low as we will have a turnover. Bobby Pettiford driving right on. Number 0, Flo Thamba, takes the charge in the key. Pettiford, offensive foul, and it's a turnover by Kansas. First time out of the game right now. Baylor on a roll. They lead 13-7. In the early stages, 7 points by LJ Cryer for the Bears. Alex, welcome back in, man. It's a really, really good start for Baylor here. And Grady Dick made the lone three in the game for Kansas, currently in the bench with 2 quick fouls. not playing into the favor for Kansas right now. Turnovers early. They've committed 3 turnovers. Baylor has not. And right before this game, I was saying that very well could be a difference maker. And you get a floor general with DeJuan Harris in the team, and he had a terrible pass in the first possession. 15 turnovers against K-State last Tuesday, and then they had a season-high 17 turnovers against TCU. So this has been a problem here as of late for Kansas. That's what wrecked Oklahoma, why Oklahoma lost to Kansas a couple weeks ago, because Oklahoma turned it over in crunch time moments, whereas this Baylor team, only 3 turnovers last week they had in the entire game against Texas Tech. They went, I think, like 32 minutes without committing a single turnover for Baylor last week against Texas Tech, and they've had 50 total assists to 32 turnovers this season. Right now, 50 assists to 32 turnovers in the last 4 games, that is, for Baylor. Whereas right now, they got 3 assists to no turnovers so far. One other game that's of interest right now going on in college basketball. This is a juicy matchup here in the Mountain West. Nevada taking on New Mexico. Nevada's got a record of 15-5 this season as they are bubble. And New Mexico ranked once again in the top 25 this week. They're at number 25 for the Lobos. They're 18-2. Currently Nevada leading 17-13. Northwestern winning Wisconsin today, 66-63. Props to Northwestern. They went on an 8-day pause due to cases winning their program, and for them to come back, not play basketball for last week, to come back and win that game, that is something special there. Northwestern right now in the bubble. And then my Celtics tonight, they lost. So their winning streak has been snapped. 113-98 Magic have 3 wins now against the Celtics this season, believe it or not, in 4 games that they have played in the season series. And Boston was without a couple key players today in that game. I think Marcus Smart, Rob Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, they were all missing. Yeah, we haven't really seen much of a bench impact for Kansas as of late. This Baylor team, I was looking at the stats before the game, and they look like they're a super deep team this season for Baylor. We come back from the timeout, 15-20 left to go in the first. Baylor gets the inbounds. Pass midcourt, Adam Flagler. Out on the floor with Keontae George as well. Jalen Bridges. Receiving the pass, LJ Cryer. And Flo Thamba out on the floor as well. Cryer drives baseline, dish out to the top, catch and fire 3. Baylor got it straight away. That's number 11, Jalen Bridges, who makes it from downtown. A front court player. Used to play for West Virginia. Getting everybody involved right now. 3 for 6 from the perimeter by the Bears. Baylor's made 7 threes or greater in their last 7 games. Kansas has allowed 7 threes, or at least 7 threes in the last 3. Attacking inside the paint off the defensive rebound for Baylor. They missed it. They got the offensive rebound, reaving their way in there. Missed the layup off the top of the glass. No good, though, by Langston Love. 14-20 left to go. Lob down low. McCullough had possession for a moment. Then he lost it. Stripped away as he was ripped away down low by Flo Thamba. Great job at the last moment to cover there for Thamba. That looked like an easy lob and layup by McCullough. He should have had it if he went up to the layup motion. But no, he took a step. And then too late as Thamba ripped it away. 4 turnovers by Kansas. None by Baylor so far. 6 minutes into the game. Attacking the paint, Jalen Bridges. Bridges got stripped in. That's the first forced turnover. Bobby Pettiford inside the key got his hands on that ball. McCullough. Oh, nice pass down low. Wilson. As Baylor signals travel, referees will say no. It's going to be called Baylor foul down inside the paint. Reaching in by Flo Thamba. The clock will stop. 13:41. Salvador Chavez, welcome to the stream. Bradley, glad to have you back in, man. Baylor, looking like they're peaking right now at the right time. 4 straight wins in a row. Most wins in conference play currently after an 0-3 start, 4-3 in the Big 12. Inbound underneath their hoop here for Kansas. Juwan Harris, the inbound passer. Lobs it over to Adams. Got Pettiford on the floor. McCullough and Wilson, the 5 for Kansas. They hand it off to Pettiford at the wing. And outside, Harris makes the pass towards his right over to Wilson. 10 on the shot clock. Wilson dribbles up to the elbow. Moves it back out to Pettiford. Takes the 3. Catching fire. Missed off the back rim too long. And the defensive board pulled down by Baylor. That's number 15. Josh Ojianwuna into the game for the first time today. Turnaround jumper mid-block for the Bears. It rattles in. Adam Flagler for 2. Baylor double-digit lead right now with 13:06 left to go in the first. Timeout taken on the floor by Bill Self for Kansas, and the backcourt showing up once again with the 3s and then getting to the mid-range. That is just a tough shot right there by Adam Flagler. 5 points he has, 7 points by LJ Cryer. Jalen Bridges, a front court player for Baylor, even got into the action, making a 3. Flo Thamba had a bucket and an and 1 for him. What a start here for the Bears. 50%, 7 for 14, 3 for 6 from the floor, and taking care of the ball. 4 assists to 1 turnover so far. Yeah, things going pretty well, man. Got some snow today, so that was actually good. Whenever it snows, I actually shovel up my neighbor. Get some exercise outside. Hockey fan, welcome to the stream, man. Glad to have you back on the channel. We get back to action. Kansas in a 3-minute scoring drought right now. We have 13 minutes left to go in the first. Jayhawks down by 11. Need somebody here to start to pop off and scoring. Jalen Wilson, top scorer in the conference, just 2 points so far. Baylor's defense much, much better in recent weeks. They've lost all 5 games this season, allowing 77 points or greater. Runner inside the key, missed off the rim by Harris, deflected out of bounds to the baseline. It will stay Kansas basketball. That was last touched by Caleb Lohner, the transfer from BYU. Deep team for Baylor. They've already played 8 players so far for this Bears team. Lohner's first playing time of action. This Baylor team went through a skid to start off conference play. Kansas last year, same thing. Late January, they had a lot of trouble. They got destroyed 1 game by Kentucky late in January. And then they lost 2 in a row, late February into early March. After that, won every single game, won the Big 12 championship, won the national title. So we have a block down low off the steal by Baylor. It's going to be blocked out of bounds. It was Jalen Wilson who blocked it out of bounds. It will stay Baylor ball. Yeah, that's about what we got today. We get about, I think, like 2 inches. Inbound for Baylor underneath their hoop. 12:18 left to go in the first. They give it over to Cryer at the wing. Cryer hands it off to Keontae George. George dribbles to the edge of the Baylor logo. George, dribble, drive, attacks right downhill to the rim. No good off the glass. The putback is good, though, with a 2-handed putback flush by Josh Ojianwuna. 20-7 right now as Baylor leads with 12 minutes remaining before half. 9-zip run for the Bears. Kansas needs some sort of answers offensively. To the top of the key. They'll take a deep range 3. Wilson drills it. There's an answer. Give Jalen Wilson some space from the outside. It's now a 10-point game. He can't do all the work, though. He's got 5, the top scorer. He needs other teammates to step up, though. Cross-court pass by Baylor on the outside. It goes to Keontae George. George defended by Pettiford. Pick set by Ojianwuna. Here's a 3 at the wing, and that is a make by LJ Cryer for Baylor. This perimeter team is looking strong. Vaughn, welcome back in, man. What a start here for the Bears. Wilson Spin move at the elbow. Rises for the jumper. Around the rim and out. No good. Tipped up. Offensive rebound. There's 2 bench points. Up and through for 2 by MJ Rice coming off the bench for Kansas. Kansas went 0-2 last week. The turnovers were a major issue last week for them, and also their perimeter defense has been struggling as well. That was a problem early in conference play against Oklahoma State, and lately it's been another problem as well with the perimeter D. Here's a deep range 3, not even close on the pull-up. It's going to be an air ball out of bounds. And this should be Kansas basketball once we get back from timeout. Keontae George pulled up from deep, and it went well below out of bounds. So we take the media timeout right now on the floor. 10:38 left to go, and what a start here for Baylor. I took Baylor by 1 today in this game. I thought it would be close and competitive. There's still a lot of time, though. Kansas is a really good adjusting team, too. Seems like every single game that Kansas plays on like a weeknight comes down to the wire. Christian, welcome to the stream. Sports Dude, glad to have you back in. Yep. So, John's starting a new job. Well, yeah, YouTube doesn't pay the bills, so you need to keep on grinding on daily life and other things that you have to do. Because for me, this is just something I do on the side or so after my full-time job. LJ Cryer, top scorer. He's got 10 for Baylor. 4 for 5 shooting. Jalen Wilson up to 5 so far for Kansas. Going to need much more players to make an impact. Didn't help out that Grady Dick picked up 2 personal fouls. Went to the bench in the early stage of the first half. Kevin McCullough with 2. And then MJ Rice got a putback. That's 2 points off the bench for Kansas. Yeah, good question. All depends on what happens out in front of them for Kentucky. And things are looking good right now because Duke lost, so Duke's not going to be in the top 25, but all depends on what happens this week with other teams around or above Kentucky. Kentucky's receiving votes right now. I think, to be realistic, I think Indiana will be back in the top 25 next Monday. Some of these teams in the top 25, I don't know how much longer. They're going to be in the top 25. If New Mexico loses tonight, they will not be in the top 25. If Clemson loses anytime this week, they won't be in the top 25. Providence has 2 must-win games this week. I think they got Butler. Yeah, they got Butler and Villanova. Those are 2 very well take care of business games right there. But if for some reason they drop those, my Friars will be out. But they've been taking care of business. They've won all the games that they've should be able to win. The only loss was, of course, the one I saw in person when they were up by 12 against St. Louis, and they blew it at the end and lost. That's the only loss that looks bad for their resume, but all the other ones have been great with no bad losses. Actually, I'm going to go to Miami's resume. I'm eyeing Miami here. They might be a team that drops out next week. They have not been doing so well on the road. I actually saw them get destroyed by Maryland at Mohegan Sun. I wasn't too high in that team. They lost against Duke on Saturdays. We come back to action. Baylor turned it over off the inbound. Kansas came up with a steal, and they just scored. That's a big bucket there for Kansas, trying to see if they can make their adjustments. Veronica, thanks so much for joining in. I got Alabama. In my opinion, Alabama's the best team right now in the nation. They're destroying teams by double digits. They've won every single team, I believe, by 10 points or greater since December, like late December. And the Bears, again, dribble drive attack. They lost it out of bounds. Back-to-back turnovers by Baylor. So Kansas applying the pressure, forcing turnovers right now. So this is going to be kept an eye on. Miami's got 2 road games this week at Florida State and at Pittsburgh. If they lose one of those, they're out of the top 25. As Kansas turns it over, bounce pass looking for a cutter. McCullough wasn't able to grab it off the cutter, and it goes out of bounds. 3 straight turnovers, 3 straight possessions. Kansas with 6 turnovers. Baylor with 2 so far, with under 10 minutes left to go before half. 30+ watching. If you guys are new in the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. I cover basketball action, play-by-play, both college hoops and NBA. Inbound goes to Flagler, so he takes it past midcourt. Flagler guarded top of the key by Harris, 1-on-1. Flagler dribble drive attacks, floats up the shot, and he banks it. That's good, up in and off the glass by Adam Flagler. The backcourt exploding once again. Flagler with 7, Cryer with 10 for Baylor, combining for 17 of the 25 points so far. As McCullough drives baseline, and McCullough will draw the blocking foul on Thamba. First trip to the free throw line tonight for Kansas. And this has been a fast game. Baylor just 1 trip to the free throw line and an one earlier on made by Flo Thamba. This will be Kansas's first trip with 9:25 left to go. First shot by McCullough, and that one's good. Substitutions now for Kansas. Grady Dick, see if he can get his shot from the perimeter going as he checks back into the game with 2 personal fouls. DeJuan Harris comes back into the game, but they're going to be without Jalen Wilson, though. Jalen Wilson heads towards the bench to get a breather right now for Wilson, as he's played 11 minutes so far, 7 points. He's played the full game. Second free throw, McCullough. He gets the bounce. That's good. Off the back rim, rolled around the rim, and dropped in. 9:20 remaining in the first. Baylor up by 9. Pass midcourt with Adam Flagler. Flagler sends it out to the right wing into the hands to Keontae George. George bounce pass on top. Over to Ajuniwuna. Into the hands now of Cryer on the outside. Flagler has it. 8 on the shot clock. 9 minutes left to go in the first. Crossover. Flagler takes the jumper deep to top of the free throw circle. Missed. Offensive rebound for a moment. Tried to go up with it. Was stripped and fouled. And Keontae George, that's a hard-fought foul, will head to the charity stripe and shoot two. That looked like really close call. That could have gone either way. That looked like a clear-cut steal by McCullough there at the tail end of it. But Keontae George going up into a shooting motion for the loose ball. Able to draw the contact and the blocking foul by McCullough. To the line, he shoots 2. First one is good by George. Second free throw. That's a make as well. Been one of the top freshmen this season for Keontae George. First 2 points now of the game at the free throw line. Inbound for Kansas, getting pressure in the backcourt. Able to cross midcourt with it, though. Joseph Yesufu, first time into the game, moves it over to McCullough. Into the hands to Harris. Currently, Wilson's on the bench. Number 23, Ernest Uda into the floor for the first time tonight as well. He's into the game. Drive, attack, kick to the corner. Here's a 3, McCullough. Missed off the rim, out of bounds. Last touch by Kansas, referees are going to say. So it's going to go back to Baylor, 8:27 remaining, and they had a great setup right there. Harris drove. He kicked it out to the corner to McCullough. McCullough catch and fire 3 just wasn't on point right there. Baylor, great start for them. Up by 11, looking to see if they can add more to this possession. George, yet to make a field goal, 0 for 4. Hand off to Flagler back out to the corner. George takes a 3. Missed off the rim. Tipped up, and the rebounds by Harris as we have a whistle down low here on the glass. This will be... Okay, it's going to be away from the basketball. It's on Kansas, though. That's Ernest Udo who picks up the personal foul. That'll be number 5 by Kansas. So Baylor will get the ball back. They'll inbound it underneath the hoop. Here they go with a corner three. No good, missed off the rim by Bridges. Kansas with a defensive board up the floor. 8 minutes left to go before halftime. Dick passes off to McCullough. McCullough's got some space as of late, as he's been struggling to make his shots last couple of games for Kevin McCullough. They've been able to give him a lot more space on the floor, and to other guys that's been able to knock down shots like Grady Dick. They've been right up in the grill of him today in this game. We take the timeout on the floor right now. Media timeout on the courts. 27-16, Baylor by 11. Daniel, welcome to the stream once again, man. Best of luck there for Mario. Enjoy your barbecue tonight, man. 35 plus watching. If you're new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. I cover basketball action here on the channel, play-by-play, both college hoops and NBA games. Feel free to join me back tomorrow. I plan on covering the Celtics against the Heat tomorrow night. Celtics playing in the back-to-back. They just lost against the Magic tonight, but looking to bounce back tomorrow, I know. A lot of their key players were missing today against the Magic. Strange as it sounds, the Magic went 3-1 this season against the Celtics. One other game to note for college hoops. Number 25 ranked New Mexico up over Nevada 36-35. Not so much for the slate tonight in this game. Or not so much for the slate on this Monday for college basketball games going down. A lot of games in the NBA that's close, though. 3 of them in action. The Hawks lead the Bulls 76-75. Rockets up over the T-Wolves 70-68. And then Jazz lead the Hornets 31-26. Willade, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Baylor's just peaking at the right time, and Kansas going into like a mid-season skid like they did last year. They need to take care of the basketball. Two big keys that they've struggled: take care of the ball and perimeter defense too. Yeah, I saw one of the college basketball analysts put out a tweet on Saturday, and he was like, I wouldn't be shocked to see the Big 12 regular season conference champion have 5 or 6 losses by the end of the season, whoever wins the regular season championship. That's how tough the Big 12 is. Yes, I'll take Syracuse in that game tomorrow. There. It seems like a lot of the home teams keep on winning games, and it seems that way more so in the ACC. Like today, Duke just lost at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech was at the bottom of the conference. Big key for Baylor is that this defense is looking significant. Like, they're looking much, much better than they've been throughout the season. They got destroyed against Marquette back in December. They gave up over 90 points to Marquette. Jumper from the mid-range, back from the timeout. It's exactly what Kansas needs. Kevin McCullough hits the 2. 7:30 left to go before halftime. Baylor's going to slow down the tempo now. Up by 9 for the Bears. They move it out to the wing. Hand off to L.J. Cryer, defended by McCullough in the outside perimeter. Puts the ball into the hands to George. Keontae George, top of the key, guarded by Jalen Wilson. Back into the game for Kansas. George rises for the jumper. Deep 2, swoosh. Wow, that's a nice-looking shot right there by Keontae George. He looks like a lottery pick. 7 minutes left to go. Hand off Dick. Dick puts the ball into the hands of McCullough. Whistle. And a foul picked up. It's going to be charged to Baylor, reaching in. It's on Keontae. Or no, it's going to be on Jalen Bridges. So Bridges picks up his second now, and Bridges will check out of the game. So Bridges goes towards the bench. Inbound goes to Yesufu. Yesufu drives, swings it out over to McCullough. Moves the ball to Dick at the top, lobs it off to the mid-block to Ernest Uda, still into the game. Wilson passes off to McCullough, lost it, and it's down loose. Tie-up possession arrow, Baylor. Another turnover by Kansas as Kevin McCullough could not handle the pass cleanly at the low block. That's been a major issue tonight for Kansas once again. 7th turnover. Baylor just 1 so far for turnovers. .6:42 left to go in the first now as Baylor gets the inbounds. Pass midcourt with Flagler. Flagler with 7 so far. Dribbles to the wing. He's defended by Dick. Now switched by Wilson. Moves it out to his left in the perimeter over to George. Back over to Flagler. Dribble. Swings it over to Cryer. Takes the open 3 straight away. Rattles out. No good. It was halfway down. Rolled around the rim, but couldn't drop it through by LJ Cryer. Dick will take a 3. That missed off the back rim too long. And the rebound secured defensively by George. Approaching 6 minutes left to go before halftime. Baylor, another quick 3 up the floor. Missed off the rim short by Flagler. Back it goes to Kansas now. 6 minutes even. McCullough puts the ball into the hands to Wilson. Wilson looking to see if he can add in another bucket. Wilson, kick out to the wing. Catch and fire. 3 in the air. That's good. Grady Dick hits the 3. That cuts it down right now. 29-21. Grady Dick up to 6. Made a big triple earlier in the game, and then he picked up those 2 personal fouls, sat on the bench for some time, but back in, and he's had a much better game today. Wide open corner 3 by Baylor. That is automatic. LJ Cryer drills it. Yeah, you just cannot leave a player that open with space. Somebody forgot their defensive assignment by Kansas that last possession, and LJ Cryer, almost 40% this season from 3. That's way too open at the right corner. 11-point lead for Baylor, approaching 5 minutes left to go before halftime. Wilson takes the 3. He hits it. He can drop buckets just like that. Jalen Wilson up to 10 right now, looking for another 30-plus point game in his system tonight. 5 minutes remaining before halftime. Baylor with the ball as this game is moving. Flagler to the outside, push it to Cryer. Cryer once again rains it through. Right down the chute it goes for the 3 ball. The 3s are dropping right now for the Bears in this one. 16 by LJ Cryer in the first half, already surpassing his season average of 13.7. Timeout taken on the floor right now. Kansas burns another timeout. The 32nd timeout, we got 11-point lead for Baylor. Yeah, I think Kentucky's much, much better than they were. A couple key players were missing when they lost against South Carolina. Cason Wallace and Jacob Toppin. Those 2 players have been critical to the success this season for Kentucky. So they were missing earlier in conference play a couple of games. Cason Wallace has been like a tone setter for that team. He has a really good motor and hustles extremely hard. And Jacob Toppin, he's gotten stronger and stronger in the offseason. He's done a really good job on Kentucky this year. Ethan, welcome back in. Yeah, this is looking like the game against Oklahoma State all over again. Except this was expected from this Baylor team. This team can shoot the cover off the ball from the perimeter. It's just a question mark this year has been the defense for Baylor, but it is improved miles from where they were at the beginning part of the season. Lob over the top, McCullough lost the lob, went out of bounds, though. There was contact on the lob. It got deflected and out. Okay, so no foul. Yeah, they're going to just say it got deflected and out by Baylor. Inbound for Kansas, 4.5 left to go before halftime. Dick at the baseline. Got stripped, and he got fouled this time. So that's on number 15. Josh Ojianwuna. George is on the floor. So Keontae George is on the floor. He's been struggling today, though. Just 4 points, 1 for 6 shooting. by George. This will be Grady Dick at the free throw line. This has been LJ Cryer and Adam Flagler's game so far. LJ Cryer, 16 points, making 4 threes, and then Adam Flagler, 7 points for him. Baylor 6 for 14 right now from 3, as Dick makes both of the free throws. Daniel, welcome to the stream, man. Yeah, so it looks like Baylor's like peaking right now. So I remember they got destroyed against Marquette. This defense has come miles and miles much better from where they were like 4 or 5 weeks ago when they were suffering losses. Here's another 3 at the wing by Baylor. High arcing, hits bottom. That is good. Oh my goodness, what a triple there. LJ Cryer. That dude is flaming up tonight. 19 points in the first half. Just made his 5th 3. Harris bounce pass off to Wilson. Wilson backs his way to the low block. Wilson, turn around, hits it. Jalen Wilson for 2, puts it back, winning 10. It's the 3s that's outweighing the 2s right now. Baylor up to a 10-point lead. Kansas shooting the basketball much better than Baylor. 56% shooting for Kansas has been basically a lot of 2s, though. Baylor, 45% shooting down low. They couldn't finish at the rim. Offensive rebound. Baylor, they stepped on the baseline. It's going to be a turnover by the Bears. 4-game winning streak for Baylor. LJ Cryer, 19 points. 7 for 15 from 3-point range in the first half for the Bears. We have a media timeout taken on the floor. Yeah, Duke's going right to the bubble right now with that loss. That's a Virginia Tech team that's getting healthy. Hunter Couture's back. Their record's misleading. That team had a record of 11-1 to start off the season. They were ranked in the top 25 at one point, and then they lost Hunter Couture. They got him back today, and Hunter Couture had a major impact why they won. Yeah, a lot of the ACC teams can't win on the road this season. There's only 3 teams in the ACC with winning records on the road. Virginia, 4-2. Clemson, 3-2. Pittsburgh's got the best road record at 5-2 in the ACC. Other than that, everybody's 3-3 or less. There's a bunch of teams that have like no wins, 1 win, 2 wins on the road this year in the ACC. I'm going to go Cincinnati over Kansas City. Just think that Cincy's just had Kansas City's number right now. And then I'm going to go Philly over San Francisco. I had Philly to the Super Bowl against Buffalo. Unfortunately, the Bills let me down, though. That was shocking. And Cincinnati's just built for like January football. Yeah, I'm probably going to go all 3 right there to make the tournament. I can see Duke and UNC, though. Looks like Kentucky is getting better since they got Wallace and Toppin back. Duke and UNC, I think both of those teams probably going to look like they're going to be like 8 seeds, 9 seeds, or like a 10 seed. Like they're going to be one of those 8, 9, or 10 seeds in the tournament. Carson, welcome in. 3:25 left to go in the first as we get back to action out of the timeout. LJ Cryer, player of the game so far for Baylor. 19 points in the first half, making 5 3-point shots. Already 7 for 15 from the perimeter by Baylor shooting the 3-ball. This team is lights out from 3-point range this season. Kansas has the ball. Harris on the floor with Wilson, Dick, McCullough, and Adams. Jumper to baseline, missed by Wilson. Offensive rebound, Dick. Bounce pass, jumper at the elbow, missed by KJ Adams, and the rebound controlled by Baylor. Under 3 minutes left to go before halftime. Baylor's going to slow it down past midcourt with Flagler. Flagler out on the floor with George Cryer. Caleb Lohner, number 33. And then number 15, Josh Ojianwuna. Cryer dribbles out to the top. His pass gets intercepted around the perimeter. McCullough comes up with a steal. McCullough had it poke loose, but a reach and fall picked up by Baylor. It's going to be number 7 coming up. Yes, it will. So it's going to send Kansas with Kevin McCullough to the free throw line, shooting the bonus right now. That's team foul number 7 picked up by Baylor of the first half. And that's on Keontae George. He picks up his second one. So 1-1 at the free throw line for McCullough. And the first one he makes. Second one is good as well for McCullough. 8-point lead, 2.5 left to go before halftime. Bears take the ball past midcourt. They're 7 for 16 from 2, 7 for 15 from 3. Flagler, guarded by Wilson. Flagler, defended still by Wilson, top of the key. 5 in the shot clock. Flagler dribbles, kicks out to the corner. Lohner takes the 3, no good, missed off the front rim though, and McCullough comes out with a defensive rebound. McCullough looking good as a late pass off to a cutter. Harris swings it over to the wing. Wide open 3-ball missed by Dick, and a defensive board hauled in by Cryer. Down to 2 minutes left to go before halftime. The lob to the corner, out of bounds. Turnover by Baylor. Looking to go to Lohner, but wasn't anywhere near the corner as it's a turnover. We have a timeout taken on the floor here by Baylor. So Baylor burns a 30-second timeout with 1:48 left to go. Yeah, they just seem like they've been showing up here in last season's playoffs, this season's playoffs. Like this team just peaks in December into January for Cincinnati. Always plays their best football. So, yeah, I think that they're going to keep on getting to the playoffs for Cincinnati for them. And it's just been odd because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Cincinnati didn't really have that great of a start. First couple of games, their offensive line looked dismal. They played on Monday night. They had a terrible showing of Monday Night Football early in the season. Kansas struggling with turnovers and struggling to defend the perimeter. And also, bench scoring has just not been there for Kansas. Baylor's a pretty deep team. Here's a 3 from deep, missed off the front rim for the Jayhawks as the rebound gets secured by Lohner. 1.5 left to go before halftime as we come back from the timeout. Yeah, Kansas is allowing an average of around 7 threes to opponents made per game. Right now, Baylor's already made 7 threes in the first half. Flagler driving downhill right on Wilson. He scores up and in off the backboard with a burst of speed right into the stanchion by Adam Flagler. Good to see that he's okay. Able to get helped out to his feet there. Hard fall right down next to the stanchion for Flagler. Able to get back up on his feet, though, as he scored on the layup. Had a step right past Jalen Wilson and draw the blocking foul. Yeah, it was shocking at first when they hired Zach Taylor, but he's done an incredible job as head coach. Free throw, that's good, by Flagler. Flagler and Cryer. What a start tonight for the Baylor backcourt. 19 by Cryer, 10 now by Flagler. 29 points through that duo today in this game. Final minute left to go in the first. Harris, pass off to Wilson, dribbles up, takes the jumper, deep two, baseline, connects on it. Jalen Wilson keeps on scoring, up to now 14 points, the top scorer for Kansas. Needs his teammates to step up, though. McCullough with 8, Dick with 8. KJ Adams yet to make an impact so far on the floor in this first half. Hasn't really touched the ball that often for KJ, just yet to score 0 for 1 in the first half. He had a big game against Kansas State last Tuesday. Yeah, they got hot at the right time. That's what the tournament's about. Just everything resets, and all you have to do is just get hot at the right time. It's just so tough to predict that. Like, who's going to be that type of team that just is able to win games in the right moment inside the bonus? Baylor missed the free throw. Rebounded by Kansas. 20 seconds left to go. Jayhawks going to look to see if they can get something here for the final shot. 13 seconds remaining. Dwan Harris, edge of the Baylor logo, calls for the pick to be set by Adams. Bounce pass, Adams down low. And a whistle. And it's charged to Baylor here, and Kansas is in the bonus. That's Adam Flagler reaching in the key. This will send Kansas to the free throw line. 1-1 by KJ Adams. He's only a 59% free throw shooter, though. 1-1. And the first one he makes. So they were gambling to see if Adams would miss the free throw so Baylor could get it back, but the first one he hits there. This could set up Baylor for the final possession. And, of course, watch out for the 3 ball by the Bears. Right now, we got Alabama. If the season ended today, January 23rd, 2023, I'd have the Crimson Tide of Alabama winning the national championship. Second one is good. I believe they're the better team than Purdue. Purdue's played a lot of close games as of late. And they got a lot of lucky calls by the official in that game last Monday against Michigan State. Pass midcourt, Cryer dribbles, drives, attacks right to the rim, floats it up, no good as the buzzer sounds. What a first half, though, by L.J. Cryer. 7-point lead going into halftime for Baylor. 41-34 to score to close out at the end of one going into halftime. A really good game so far. And this one, Kansas is such a great team at adjusting. So this game is far from over. L.J. Cryer, 19 points. 70% shooting from the floor. 5 for 7 from 3-point range. Adam Flagler, 10 points at half. 4 for 9. They're 7 for 16 from 3-point range in the first half for Baylor. Keontae George struggling tonight. Just 4 points for George, shooting just 1 for 6 from the floor in 17 minutes. Really just Cryer and Flagler, the two that's been solid contributors so far today. And then for Kansas, it's been all Jalen Wilson. 14 points at half for Wilson. 8 by Ken McCullough. Grady Dick with 8. Good to see those two able to step up, helping them out in this game. But if they want to make a comeback, got to get usage out of KJ Adams right now. KJ Adams key against Kansas State last week. Tonight, though, just 2 points. Both at the free throw line, yet to make a field goal so far. Only attempted 1 field goal as well in the first half. Do I think Charleston can make a run? I'll say no there. Charleston reminds me similar to that Winthrop team from 2 years ago that lost to Villanova in the first round. Except they had the same head coach, Pat Kelsey, at Winthrop. The thing that's different, though, is that I don't think that Winthrop team was a great three-point shooting team. Charleston's not efficient from three, but they're one of the top teams in the nation in most made threes per game for Charleston. So there's a lot of like mid-majors like that. I think Furman has constantly been like that, like 3-point makes per game. They're one of the top teams in the nation. I jotted it down during last year's tournament. I think the biggest key takeaway from last year that I went off was that physicality trumped perimeter shooting, which a lot of like the bigger, stronger physical teams knocked out the sharpshooting perimeter teams. Like Virginia Tech lost in the first round to Texas. Vermont lost to Arkansas. Like perimeter type of teams there. South Dakota State lost to Providence in the first round. Yeah, so those teams that were like top perimeter shooting teams didn't really fare that great last season, and that's... Wow, I did not see that. There was a player of Virginia Tech that punched a Duke player. They just showed the highlight about that right there. Last week that answer would have been Gonzaga, but now they're at 14. Out of the top 10 teams, which team do I think could get bounced out early? I think Tennessee for them. They usually take care of business though against like smaller opponents. That's the thing. Tennessee at 4, I seem like that's way too high. They had lost against Kentucky a couple weeks ago for them, though. Kentucky's turning a corner, but sometimes the offenses just seem like they're on a grind. The other team maybe be Virginia or so, because they play like slower tempo games, and if they just have like a bad day, especially in the ACC this year, there hasn't really been any challengers to them in the conference. I'm not even sold on Clemson. Clemson's got the best record in conference play, and they beat Virginia Tech by 1 at home on Saturday. Yeah, this Virginia team beat Michigan by 2. They beat James Madison by 5. Like, if they have like an off game like they did 2 years ago against Ohio, then it's not going to be their game. And some of these teams that's mid-majors, they might be getting some tough draws in there to knock out teams. Hey, appreciate that, Laszlo. You're the man, brother. Appreciate that. Is Michigan making the tournament? Well, ask me that after Thursday night. I think they could very well beat Purdue. In my honest opinion there. Is Ohio State making the tournament? That would be a no. Not looking that way right now. Yeah, A-10's been really disappointing this season. That's a one-bid league, looks like. I think it's VCU is leading the conference, but Dayton was ranked to begin the year, and it's just been disappointing all around. I used to follow, when they were good, I used to follow a lot of like URI, because they're like my second favorite team besides Providence, but I totally forgot about them. Like they're doing terrible this year. I think Loyola Chicago is the worst team in that conference. Yeah, the ACC had that last year. Just so weird. Like the ACC teams just showed up for the tournament. Virginia Tech beat Duke today. Tough loss for Duke. They came in number 26, so they were right outside the top 25. Oh yeah, there was a. They're showing that replay right now. One of the Duke players with 12 seconds left to go got a punch from a Virginia Tech player, and they just showed that replay about that. Yikes. Yeah, they're an interesting case for Florida. They might be in like the play-in game for Florida. I think that's where we're seeing Oklahoma trends. They've lost so many close games for Oklahoma. Like that's just the Big 12 right there. Right now, Oklahoma's 11-8. They're probably. It all depends on what happens, but they'll probably be like an 11 seed. And maybe Florida will get the draw as an 11 seed. Probably maybe a play-in game or so. Genie, welcome back in. New Mexico up over Nevada 45-43. That's going to have to sort itself out. There's a lot of teams with great records in the Mountain West. It's just like the thing is, you got teams that's like 16-3, 15-5 in the Mountain West, and basically that's like an equivalent of like a team in like another conference that's like a 10-8 or like a 500 team. That's the thing. The Mountain West has underperformed a lot. Michigan, wow. Michigan has won 4 straight games at home against Purdue. This is dating back to 2018. Michigan hasn't lost a game at home since 2018 against Purdue. That's the saving game for the season for Michigan. If they lose that, then it's going to be tough to get back to the bracket. You can't find a more signature win than that. They play on Thursday. Yeah, Alabama, they're destroying everybody. If the season ended today, they'd be my pick to win the title right now. They've beaten every single opponent that they've faced within the last month by like 10 points or greater. Yeah, Marquette. That's a team right there that is one of the top scoring teams in the nation this season for Marquette. I did not expect them to be that good. Despite the narrative of Shaka Smart. That could be like a sleeper type of team this season for them. Like, historically, teams under Shaka Smart, like, have just kept on getting bounced out lately in the tournament. But it just seems like there's something different about this Marquette team this season. That's a team that's a scoring machine. Right now, number 16 in the nation for them. That could be a team to get like a watchful eye upon. Yeah, Florida Atlantic 19-1. They're ranked below Charleston. Charleston's got 2 more wins than them at 21-1. Florida Atlantic's got the better win. Florida Atlantic beat Florida on the road. Charleston doesn't really have like a signature victory. They won a lot of teams at home that made the tournament last year, but not this year. Like, none of those teams that they won at home are close to the bracket right now. It's kind of odd that they played all these home games against teams that's like greater conferences than them. So they won by 2 points in overtime against Richmond. This is Charleston. They beat Davidson by 3. They beat Colorado State by 10. They won against Virginia Tech in a home game by 2. This is the one I got my watchful eye on. They beat Kent State by 2 in a home game. Kent State has only got 3 losses themselves, and they're not ranked. for Kent State, but they're receiving votes. If they play that game at Kent State wins that game. Kent State lost on the road at Charleston by 2. They got 3 losses. So 2 points at Charleston, 5 points they lost at Houston, and then they lost by 7 at Gonzaga. They got a record of 16-3. At the beginning of the season, they weren't scoring. They were playing games in like the 40s and 50s, and now they're scoring in the 70s and 80s. And allowing opponents to like around 60 or so. Charleston lost to North Carolina. Yeah, they lost at Chapel Hill. They gave up over 100. Yeah, it's just shocking why Georgetown hasn't made the firing yet. The last win for Georgetown was in the Big East Championship game back in 2021. Somebody posted on Twitter a couple of days ago, this is the last Georgetown win, and they beat Creighton by, I think it was about like 30 points. They beat Creighton in the Big East Championship, and nobody saw it coming. From 2 years ago, those conference tournaments were wild. The Pac-12 at Oregon State. Oregon State made it to the Elite 8. Next year they went 3-28. That was crazy. Oregon State that year, they just got red hot at the right moment. And then UCLA made their miraculous run. Yeah, they called it the Charleston Classic, TD Arena. I think that's their home floor. So that's where they play Virginia Tech. It came up as the TD Arena again for like other games. So that's their home court. So they hosted that Charleston Classic back in November where they hosted a bunch of teams. So that makes sense. If Xavier, Virginia were to play each other, who would win? I would take Xavier in that game. I just like the firepower of Xavier. They're not like the strongest defensive unit that they have, but Virginia at times sometimes has been their offense sometimes has struggled or so for Virginia. And if Xavier can get on top, that's the key. If you're like a high-scoring team that can get on top and not let Virginia control the game, then you win the game. James Madison lost by 5 at Virginia. James Madison's one of like the top scoring teams. They hung in with Virginia, which Virginia was able to win it at the end, able to control it at the end and win. That's why UCLA has some trouble with Arizona. Arizona is more like a bigger, stronger, physical team, and they can score for Arizona, whereas UCLA's slow tempo, known for their defense, is going to look to control the game. So that number is going to look to appear to be down. But if you can make shots late and take control like Arizona did, you win the game, and that's what Arizona did against UCLA. Yeah, UCLA, North Texas, Virginia, those are 3 of the slowest teams per KenPom in offensive tempo. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see as time will go. Definitely for Sean Miller. Xavier is definitely a tournament team this year. Last couple of years, they've had heartbreak and been on the bubble, and like the last 2 weeks, just weren't able to put it together, and got bounced out from the bubble. So yeah, right now definitely a tournament team, and they're gonna be in the bracket. And I guess it's too early to tell for Kenny Payne. Have to see how year 2 goes. The roster wasn't really constructed the proper way. He had a bunch of roster turnover in the offseason. He had a lot of forwards, not many backcourt players. Yes, I think Kansas does have a chance. I projected Baylor by 1 to win 77-76, but I do think Kansas does have a chance. They're a really good adjusting team. If they can stop the perimeter shot and not turn over the basketball in the second half, then this could go Kansas's way. If you guys are new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. We're going to start off half number 2 of action in just a moment. Yeah, that's been the biggest surprise this year. K-State up to number 5. And they lost their top scorer last season, Nigel Pack, and he hasn't really made an impact yet in Miami. I think he's the number 4 scorer right now. Turns the corner for Kansas. Harris moves it over to Dick. Back into the corner to Harris. Harris lobs it over. Down inside a low block. Puts it up. Missed off the mark by KJ Adams. And a rebound tipped around. Out of bounds it goes down the far side. For the battle for the loose ball, it will be Baylor basketball with 19:37 in the second. That's the second shot attempt of the game by KJ Adams, but missed inside the paint. Thamba, George, Cryer, Flagler, Bridges, the 5 in the floor to start off the second for Baylor. Harris, Dick, Wilson, McCullough, Adams, the 5 for Kansas on the floor. Hand off the Bridges around the perimeter. Puts the ball now to the hands of Cryer. Edge of the Baylor logo guarded by Harris. 19:20 remaining in the second. Hand off Flagler. Flagler rises for the 3 straight away. Skipped around the rim and out. Defensive rebound pulled down by Wilson. Kansas looking to cut it right here. Dick swings it on top off to Harris. Harris moves it out to his right to Wilson. Wilson at the right baseline, deep, backs his way on Cryer. Now draws a double team. Wilson shovels it. Nice decision down low. Two-handed dunk in the open. That is good by KJ Adams. Nice patience right there by Jalen Wilson with an assist. And it's a 5-point game. 14 points, 4 rebounds, picks up his first assist of the night now by Wilson. And finally, KJ Adams scores his first basket. Keontae George, struggling tonight from the floor, floats up a high shot off the glass. No good. Offensive rebound. 3 at the wing. Missed off the mark by Flagler. Tipped up in the third chance, though, with a putback. That is finally good. Up and in off the glass by Keontae George. The third time through. 18:20 remaining here in the second. Harris swings it out to his right over to Grady Dick. They move it out to the left corner, though, back to Harris. Turns the corner, dribbles, drives right down the lane. He goes on turbo right to the rim. That was a nifty move right there. Juwan Harris lays it up and in with the right hand. Just turned the corner, drived, and able to get the layup right past the defender. Baylor has it around the perimeter. Flagler dribbles up to the low block. Now back outside to the top of the key. Flagler working on Wilson one-on-one. Flagler step back 3 in the air over Wilson. Missed off the rim. Offensive rebound hauled in through traffic, though, by Thamba. And a whistle and a reach and fall picked up off the dribble. It's going to be charged to Kevin McCullers. Thamba tried to dribble it back outside. The real deal. Welcome back on the stream, man. Got a game right here. Kansas creeping up right now. They were down by double digits early on. Baylor gets the inbound. Cryer takes the 3. No good. Missed off the front rim. They've gone cold from 3 lately. Offensive rebound, though. George floats it up. Missed off the back rim. And the rebound picked up by Dick. So Kansas down by 5. Chance to cut it a 3 or 2 and a made bucket here. 17-15 left to go in the second. Juwan Harris Hands it off to Wilson. Wilson, the top scorer with 14 for Kansas. Jumper at the baseline. Grady Dick missed off the mark, and the rebound pulled down by Bridges. Bridges over to Flagler. He drives and draws contact and a blocking foul. This will send Adam Flagler to the free throw line shooting 2. That will be picked up on Jalen Wilson. That will be Wilson's second. Nobody really in deep foul trouble tonight in this game. Not too many personal fouls as we've gone quick through the action. Grady Dick and Jalen Wilson with 2. Everybody else with 1 or 0 for fouls right now for Kansas. So this is not like the Kansas K-State game from last week where they had 3 players fall out by overtime. First free throw is good by Adam Flagler. Baylor has 3 players with 2 personal fouls right now. Flo Thamba, Keontae George, and Jalen Bridges. And the second one is good. So 7-point game, 17 minutes left to go. Kansas shooting 50% in the second half, holding Baylor to just 14%. Baylor's had a barrage of offensive rebounds early. They just cannot make their shots from the perimeter, though. Wilson, spin move at the free throw circle. Double team, passes down low. McCullough draws the blocking fall from behind by Flagler. They're getting right to the rim. Some great passing here in the second half by Kansas. Making the key passes and taking care of the basketball. A big difference in their adjustments. And Kevin McCullough will shoot 2 coming up. And also a key here. This could come down to free throws at the end. Kansas perfect right now as the first one is a make. So they are 9 for 9 currently at the free throw line. Baylor right behind, 6 for 7. But Baylor struggling here in the second half. 0 for 4 from 3-point range in half number 2. The second free throw is a make by McCullough. 5-point game once again. Kansas is right in this game at the moment. They've played so many close games this season. Baylor led by 13. At one point, the largest lead of the game. 16.5 left to go. At the edge of the logo for the Bears. They will dribble up to the left wing perimeter with Keontae George. George takes the 3 over Dick, missed off the rim. Defensive rebound pulled down by McCullough. Here goes Kansas looking to push it. Up fake Dick, drives baseline, watch out. Soaring up, count the bucket and the foul. Grady Dick, 1 shot coming up at the free throw line. Oh man, what a drive baseline as he was able to slip past the defender off the up fake. Off the rebound, a great job to push it there for Kansas. He drew the contact. It was on Flo Thamba who picked up the blocking foul. Hey, thanks so much, Alex, for joining in, man. Enjoy the rest of your night. And if you guys would like to come back tomorrow, feel free to do so. I plan on covering the Celtics against the Heat tomorrow night at 7:30. Flo Thamba will head towards the bench now, and foul trouble picks up his 3rd. So Thamba checks out of the game. Coming in now will be number 15 for Baylor, Josh Ojanawuna. Free throw is good for Dick. 2-point game now as we approach 16 minutes. Flagler sends it over to Bridges. Bobbled pass by Langston Love, who's now into the game for the first time today. Off to Flagler at the top of the key. Keontae George currently on the bench as Love's in there. Kick out to the corner. Love up fake. Shovels it on top, and that will be called a travel by Langston Love at the corner. Turnover by Baylor. Langston Love right there just thinking too much as he tried to up fake a defender, but he jumped up with both of his feet, came down, and then made a pass, called in a travel. Timeout taken on the floor as we reach the media timeout right now. 15:51 left to play, second half, and look at this, down by 13. Kansas draws 1 and 2 right now. If you're new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe as we just started off in the early stage of the second half here. Hit us up in the chat who you guys are rooting for tonight if you haven't already done so. Kansas or Baylor, what a matchup. Just another night in the Big 12. Baylor's gone cold lately. Second half, Baylor just shooting 12.5% in half 2. 1 of 8 from the floor in the second half. Kansas up to 60% shooting in half 2, 3 of 5. Baylor lucky for the rebounds. They're right now 6-3 on the glass in half two. Baylor out-rebounding Kansas 24-17. Second chance points, too, has been a major factor. 9-2 for Baylor. This could very well come down to free throws, and that's where Kansas has been perfect. 11 for 11 right now by Kansas. Baylor 6 for 7. And Flo Thamba, 3 personal fouls on the bench right now for Baylor. They don't have much experience with their front court for Baylor. More of a backcourt-oriented type of team for them. And right now, the scoring is just like stalled out. One other game to note, really good game going on between number 25 ranked New Mexico and Nevada. It's tied 59-59 with under 10 minutes left to play. We'll keep you guys posted on New Mexico, Nevada today. Yeah, looking good right now for Genie. Yeah, the one game on Saturday, that's probably going to be like the blip of the season for Kansas, losing by 17 against TCU. Usually, when they're down by double digits, they're notorious for coming back. Did that in the national championship, did that against Oklahoma State to start off conference play, and then I believe they were down by 12 as well against Oklahoma. They came back and won that game. All right, so we're going to get back to action right now. 45-43, 2-point game with 15:50 left to go. Kansas gets the inbound. Harris, Dick, Wilson, McCullough, and Adams, the 5 in the court right now for Kansas. Harris has it at the edge of the logo. Moves it out to the right wing to Jalen Wilson. 14 he had in the first half. Over to Harris. Harris dribbles to the right wing perimeter, 8 on the shot clock. Harris double team, pass off the roll down. The extra pass made by Adams. Kick out to the wing. Wilson takes the 3. He's got it. And Kansas takes the lead. 46-45. Tremendous adjustments here in the second half for Bill Self squad as they go inside to outside, moving the basketball around. Catch and fire 3 by Jalen Wilson up to 17. The top scorer, Dick, comes up with a steal at the baseline. Here goes Kansas. They will slow it down. Swings in a fastball. Harris over to Dick as he will drive. Missed the layup. Tapped out of bounds. Last touch by Baylor. It will stay Kansas ball. 14:56 left to go as Kansas will get the inbound. Riley, welcome in, man. Hope all is going well. Hello to you, bud. We got a ball game right now. Kansas first lead of the night. Trying to avoid 3 straight. Baylor trying to make it 5 in a row. Oh, check that on the call. They had pointed, officials at first had pointed Kansas basketball. They had talked about it. It will be called Baylor ball. So this will be Baylor ball. At first they had ruled it was Kansas basketball, but second adjustment there, they have put it back to being Baylor basketball. Turnaround jumper. Tough shot for Baylor. They will score. Count it in the fall by Langston Love, redeeming himself after a turnover a couple minutes ago. Wow. That's a tough shot. Spin move over KJ Adams. KJ in the blocking foul. And Langston Love will shoot one at the free throw line. Hand in the face. Submerged by Adams and puts it over him. 83% free throw shooter makes it. I think we might be going back and forth the remaining part of this game. 14:30 left to go. Kansas pass midcourt. Harris Guarded at the top of the key by Cryer. Moves it on top over to McCullough. Lob over the top. Watch out. Backdoor. Grady Dick up over the rooftop right there. Soaring up with a two-handed throw down in the alley-oop. Grady Dick with a big impact. 13 points now by Dick. He's had some inconsistent games as of late, but that is huge. 14 minutes left to go. Pass the wing. Flagler. Open three. He drills it. Now the scoring seriously starting to pick up here. Michael, thanks so much for joining in, man. This has been a really good matchup as of late. Kansas at one point down by 13. Chance to tie it up again with a 3. Draw winning 1 with a 2. We'll see what they go here. Harris turns the corner. He's going to drive right down the lane. Kick out to the wing. Intercepted, though, by Bridges. What a steal. Jumped the route as Harris was looking to go to Wilson. The corner 3 by Baylor. Missed off the mark. Tipped up. Offensive rebound. Bridges down low. Blocking foul. Count it in the bucket. Wow. Jalen Bridges' offensive rebound put back. That could have honestly gone the opposite direction. Looked like he lowered the shoulder right into Grady Dick, but the referees are going to call it blocking foul by Grady Dick. Let's see here in the replay. Ooh! Lowering that left shoulder by Bridges, but he got the benefit of the call by the officials. Makes the free throw. That's a major swing of points. Grady Dick picks up his 3rd, and the free throw is made by Baylor. 6-point game. Major swing right there. With a 3-point play by Baylor. Wilson receives it at the wing. Drives to the low block. Wilson called in the offensive foul as he lowers the shoulder in a Langston Love turnover. Emma, welcome in. Italiano, thanks so much for joining in. A lot of these games, especially power conference games, it's been the home team that usually comes out on top for these power conference games. Last week there was one, Arkansas at Mizzou. Missouri was down by 3 in the final minute. They came back and they won by 3. 3 taken top of the key by Baylor. They missed the 3. We get a whistle down low and a rebound and this charge to Kansas. Yeah, right now, all the calls at the moment keep on going Baylor's way. Last 3 minutes, the calls keep on going Baylor's way. A couple possessions ago, that was clearly a shoulder lowered by Baylor that they made the and 1 at. Miss Boozehound, welcome back in. Thanks so much for joining in. 12:55 left to go. Oh, there was a technical charge to Baylor. Free throw is good by Grady Dick. So 5-point game. Dick makes the free throw. Technical charge to, I think it came from the Baylor bench. And now Baylor will get the inbound. So 12:55 left to go. Inbound will go underneath their hoop for Baylor. They inbound it off the Bridges. Bridges drives on Dick. Swings it out to the right wing perimeter. Catch and fire 3. Langston Love. Was it a 3? Was his foot on the line or not? They will roll the 3. 57-49. And a timeout taken by Bill Self as Baylor once again. Couple critical calls by the officials going their way, and that's a big-time 3. So 8-point game. This Baylor team can score in bunches if they can make their shots, and right now, that's a big shot that they just made. If you guys are new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. A lot of game left to go. 12:46 remaining. 35 plus watching. Hit us up in the chat who you guys are rooting for tonight in this one. And feel free to join in tomorrow. I plan on covering the Celtics against the Heat tomorrow night. If you guys would like to come on board, 7:30 p.m. tip-off time. Actually, I've got the poll up there for a long time or so. I'm going to take that poll down. Thanks so much all who voted today in the poll. Looks like Kansas took the poll 55-44. Top scorers currently in the game right now. LJ Cryer, 19 points for Baylor. He's yet to score, though, in the second half. 5 made threes in the first half. Adam Flagler, 15 points. It's been those two right now that's been leading the way in scoring. After Cryer and Flagler, 6 points each by Keontae George, Jalen Bridges, and Langston Love. George having a tough game tonight, just 2 for 9 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3. And then Kansas, 3 players double figures. Major game by Grady Dick today. Bounce back game for him. He's got 14 points. Second best player currently for the Jayhawks. Jalen Wilson, 17 points, 7 for 11 shooting, 3 for 5 from the perimeter. And Kevin McCullough, a big bounce back game. He's got 10 points today for McCullough and 6 rebounds. KJ Adams yet to really get going tonight. He's only got 4. So I remember last week he had a strong performance against K-State. And Juwan Harris, 2 points, 4 assists. They've only got 2 points from the bench tonight for Kansas. Yeah, it should be a great game tomorrow. My Celtics are without a couple key players today. They lost against the Magic. Do I watch the UConn Lady Huskies? I don't watch women's basketball that much, but once they go into the tournament or stuff, I'll probably catch the later games in the tournament, like Final Four or National Championship. One other college game of significance tonight. Number 25 ranked New Mexico on the road at Nevada. 5:10 left to go. New Mexico leading 68-65. It's a big game. Not much for college hoops tonight. As for a lot of games of great magnitude going down. Northwestern's on the bubble. They beat Wisconsin 66-63. And then Virginia Tech upset Duke 78-75. Duke at number 26 dropping downwards. Looking to drop back to the bubble. So it looks like if they keep on losing like that, that's a bad loss. I got the Eagles in the NFC Championship. So I got Philly against Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. I had Buffalo previously, but props to Cincy for beating Buffalo. And I just think that Cincy has Kansas City's number. Wilson swings it on top as we get back to action. Dick drives right down the lane with the left hand. He scores up and in off the glass with a layup. Grady Dick right to the rim. Having a tremendous game today, up to 16 points. Number 2 scorer for Kansas behind Wilson with 17. 8 points in the first half by Dick. And 8 points in the first 8 minutes in the second half now. 12 minutes left to play. Baylor with a possession. LJ Cryer defended at the right wing perimeter by Adams. Attacks the paint. Cryer puts it up mid-range. That's a tough shot, and he scores as he zips it through for 2. LJ Cryer back where he picked off in the first half. 21 points as he gets his first bucket in half 2. McCullough moves it out to the right corner over to Dick. Dick, cross-court pass, finds Harris. Moves it on top. Wilson. Wilson with 3 threes made here in this game. Off the Dick. Turnaround. There he gets the jumpers. He turns the corner. 15-footer. That is good by Grady Dick, now the top scorer for Kansas. 18 now for Dick. Starting to get to the mid-range for Kansas. Knocking down their 2s and also to the rim. 11:15 left to go. So we go back and forth as of late. Baylor will take the jumper. 14-foot jump shot missed off the front rim by Flagler. Rebound goes back to Kansas. Harris has it at the top of the key. Pick set by Adams. Harris swings it out to the corner. Intercepted. Oh, what a play there by number 13 Baylor. Langston Love with both of his feet in bounds. They move it out to Love. Love took the 3 ball. Missed off the rim. Lucky there for Kansas, able to come up with a defensive rebound. That would have set the roof down in Baylor's home floor. 10:40 left to go. McCullough on the outside. He's guarded by Bridges. Dribbles to the mid-block. Puts up the shot. Blocked by Bridges. McCullough gets it back. Spin move. Sneaks over Bridges. Bridges comes up with another block denying McCullough. Here they go. 5 on floor. Deflected. Intercepted by Harris. Passes down low. McCullough. Turn around. Missed off the mark. Offensive rebound. Second chance. No good. Missed the bounce by KJ Adams. And the rebound goes right back to Baylor. Both of these teams playing their hearts out right now. 10:10 left to go, second half. Baylor up by 6. Baylor with the basketball will slow down tempo. Flagler puts the ball into the hands to Cryer, top of the key. Dribbles towards his right around the perimeter. Cryer hands it off to Langston Love. Love attacks right on Harris, puts it up, and he scores, counting the foul. Wow. That ball dropped late off the backboard. It looked like we were going slow motion in the world right there by Langston Love. They will count the bucket in the foul. 61-53 plus one coming up at the free throw line. That is a tough drive right on Harris, who picks up the foul. Langston Love, some big-time shots, and one coming up after timeout for Love. What a game. Brandon, welcome to the streamer, man. Yeah, things going pretty well. I actually haven't watched Arizona that much this year, but they came off a big win. They beat UCLA. They've had their number as of late for them. If you guys are doing the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. Here I cover basketball action, play-by-play, both college hoops and NBA games, and man, just another great game tonight. Langston Love off the bench, 8 points. Bench difference so far in favor of Baylor, 10-2. Currently today, both of these teams making their free throws. Kansas perfect, 12 of 12. Baylor 8 of 9 at the free throw line. Baylor, big difference maker, making their threes, especially in that first half. They're 9 of 26 from 3-point range today. Kansas 5 of 12 from the perimeter, but also Baylor plus 7 on the glass. The reason why Kansas is right in this game, much better second half, holding Baylor to only 39% shooting and 2 for 10 in the second half, shooting from 3. So Vaughn's got Niners and Bengals in the Super Bowl. Yeah, mine got Philly and Cincy. That should be, oh man, both of the games are going to be great. Vegas looking at the odds right now. National championship, Alabama plus 950. I wonder if that's the top odds for Alabama, or if they've got worse odds than Purdue. Because Alabama's ranked at number 2. In my eyes, if the season ended today, I'd have Alabama winning the national championship. But flashback to 2 years ago, I think I said the same thing around this time. Alabama was smoking teams 2 years ago at this very, very same time. I remember there was a game that they made like 20-plus threes against LSU. They also beat LSU this couple of weeks ago by 40. Yeah, Alabama going all the way back to their winning streak on December 20th. They've won every single team they've beat has been by 10 points or greater. Yeah, 2 seasons ago, they started off 14-3. One of those games they won 105-75 on the road at LSU. These were some of the scores from the week of January 12th to January 19th. They won by 20, 85-65 against Kentucky. They beat Arkansas 90-59, and then they won at LSU 105-75. That's around the same time frame as last year, just a little bit later we're on right now. But that was January 12th to January 19th of 2021 when they were peaking, and they started off 13-3. Backdoor dunk. Before that, the free throw was good. Grady Dick got the backdoor dunk. He's up to 20 now. 9:30 left to go. Baylor with a basketball as they take it past midcourt. Jalen Wilson just picked up his 3rd assist of the game. 17 points by Wilson. Grady Dick, though, making a major impact. That's the reason why Kansas is hanging in. It's just been his game tonight. Bounce back game for Grady Dick. Incredible backdoor cut for him. Beautiful pass by Wilson, as they showed that on the replay. 12 points in the second half by Grady Dick. And they've been able to get away from shooting shooting the threes, and they've been able to gel with the twos for Kansas in the second half. Getting right to the rim has been a major impact. Dick flings it out to the wing off to Wilson. 9:10 left to go. Down by 7 for Kansas. They move it around the perimeter. MJ Rice right now on the floor. He's got the lone 2 points from the bench. And we have a foul, though, picked up by Kansas. Offensive foul around the perimeter. Or no, it's actually going to be a technical towards the bench. Yeah, it was near where MJ Rice was. Technical foul picked up on Bill Self, it looks like. Yeah, they get the camera focusing on Bill Self. Just picked up a technical, and this will send Baylor to shoot 1 at the line. Adam Flagler, perfect 3 of 3, makes the free throw. 16 points now. So yeah, I don't know what was said right there, but the ref's issuing a tech on Bill Self at the bench. And Flagler, 1 more shot, and he hits it. So 9:07 remaining, and now Kansas will get the inbound where the whistle was blown. Front court, far side. Kick out to the corner. Dick drives baseline, swings the pass down low, deflected. MJ Rice picks it up, puts it up, and that will not be counted, it looks like, by the officials. They will call a travel by MJ Rice underneath the hoop. Oh, yeah, he went up with it and then he went up with it once again. So both of his feet touched the floor and then went up with it once again. So that's a turnover right underneath the hoop. Baylor has it on the outside. Flagler takes a 3 at the rim. Missed off the mark, tipped up. Loose ball. DeJuan Harris tried to save it. Poked it loose out of bounds, though. Great effort by Harris in the corner. Will stay. Baylor ball. Yes. There's a lot of teams that could possibly win it. The Big 12, back-to-back champions, national champions they've got from the Big 12. Baylor and Kansas. Somebody very well from the Big 12 is going to win it once again. So many great teams in this conference, as this will be 2 free throws at the line coming up. LJ Cryer shooting 2. Got fall from behind. So yeah, both of these teams, national champions the last 2 years. Playing against each other in a big game first time this season. Lived up to its hype tonight. 21 by Cryer, shooting 2 at the free throw line. First one he missed. Second free throw coming up by Cryer. And that one's good. So 10-point lead, largest deficit, down by 13 at one point in the game for Kansas. 8:15 left to go. Wilson up to 17 points. Grady Dick, the top scorer, with 20 for Kansas. Wilson lobs it out to the wing off to Rice. Out to the top, it goes now to Dick. Dick flings it over to Wilson. Takes the 3. Missed the 3 off the rim. Tipped up off the glass. As we have a dead ball rebound on the floor. Contact on the rebound as well with a fall picked up here. Charge to Baylor. And that will be on Langston Love as he picks up the personal. No, I will not be upset. Right now, they look like they're playing the best basketball out of anybody. Lob goes off the top of the glass, off the fingertips of Wilson, and then it went off the glass. Wilson looking for the fall call. Nothing there by the officials. There was a ton of contact as he got knocked out of position. No call by the referees. 7:45 left to go. Baylor has possession as they will dribble, drive, attack down the lane, and draw the blocking foul. That's going to be charged to Rice, and this will be 2 free throws coming up by Baylor right now with Keontae George. When their threes haven't dropped in half 2, they have been strong drivers to the rim for this Baylor team in the second half, and they've been able to get second chance points as well, 13-2. And the second chance points favor for Baylor in this game, leading +7 on the glass right now, 29-22. Oh, yeah, different in football because they're constantly there in football. Like, we hear about that. Like this year was odd not seeing Alabama in the college football playoff. They're a dynasty in football. And no wonder why everybody, because I'm a Patriots fan. I'm from Massachusetts, like a half an hour south or so from Gillette Stadium. So it's just been basically like when I grew up or so, always being a Patriots fan. But yeah, people get sick throughout the course of time when you see one team just dominate and the other team's like not having a chance to play in like the national championship game or the Super Bowl, and that one team becomes a dynasty and just owns all the other teams and dominates. Right now we got 7:40 left to go. Baylor will shoot 2 coming up at the free throw line. Also, the Falls have gotten out of control lately. Yeah, I actually got to update the Falls once we get back on the board because they surpassed the bonus. Because there was a tech in there by Kansas. This game really hasn't gone their way in the second half with the Falls. They got it to a 1-point lead at one point, and then there was a lot of like different momentum plays that Baylor was able to get the calls on. They've got 11 personal fouls in the second half. I'm going to update that to the double bonus once we get back on the screen after the timeout. It's 18 total as a team that they've committed for personal fouls. Baylor tonight with 11, and Baylor just 3 fouls this half currently. Nobody in deep foul trouble. Nobody's got 4. There's a couple players with 3 for Kansas. Grady Dick and Jalen Wilson, top 2 players. He's got 3. Flo Thama's got 3, and that's the only player who's got 3 for Baylor. Yeah, I've seen this a lot on the home floor of whoever is hosting these games, that the team will go on a run late and they'll get a lot of like the beneficial calls. So many home teams just keep on winning close games this year. As we come back from the timeout, 2 free throws at the line. First one is good for Baylor. And second one is good as well. So Keontae George makes them both. So we approach the 7.5 minute mark left to go. Grady Dick swings it over to Wilson. Hand off to Harris around the perimeter. Harris guarded at the top of the key. Pass off the roll down. Right. As they couldn't make the layup there. That was KJ Adams. Couldn't finish down low as he missed the layup. Off the right side of the glass. KJ Adams having a struggling game today. Hasn't really been a focal part of the offense. Just 1 for 5 today. 7 minutes left to go. 3-point shot taken by Baylor around the rim and out. They missed. That would have sent the whole house down. That would have been a big 3. They would have taken their largest lead if they made it. Kansas trying to get to the paint here. Wilson will draw the reach and fall. Picked up by Loner. Clock will stop with 6:53. And that's only Baylor's 4th personal foul. Yeah, they probably wish that after last night. I saw the video. One of the Cowboys fans punched the TV yesterday. Yeah, Dak Prescott just not helping out the cause there. Bad game yesterday. Poor 3 by McCullough. Missed off the front rim. Offensive rebound, though, right back to Harris. Another corner 3. McCullough missed it again. Had 2 times to knock down a perimeter shot. Missed them both at the corner by Kevin McCullough. Now Kansas has gone cold from the floor after Baylor started out really, really cold in the second half. Kansas at 1 point led by 1. Baylor. Bounce pass, deflected, stolen away. McCullough comes up with a steal. They got a 3-on-2 up the floor here. McCullough looks to attack. Got it stripped, though, out of bounds, and that's just a great defensive play by Baylor, sticking a hand in there by one of their defenders, poking it loose out of bounds. Let's see, number 0, number 10, Adam Flagler, just slapped it out. 6:16 left to go. Kansas will get the inbound. Right underneath their hoop, Harris moves it over to McCullough, puts it on top off to Wilson. Wilson dribbles, attacks inside the paint, and another whistle, reach and fall, picked by Baylor. They're 5th as a team in the second. Hey, thanks so much, The Real Deal. Appreciate it. 6:12 left to go. Choppy lately because Baylor's had falls to give. Harris dribbles out to the corner, moves it over to Wilson. So we approach the 6-minute mark. Wilson takes the 3. That one missed off the left side of the glass. Offensive rebound, though. Adams keeps it alive. Dick, up fake. Dick sends it off to McCullough. McCullough double team to the baseline, moves on top. Harris shoots the 3. That's not even close. Air ball to the left of the rim, and it goes out of bounds by DeJuan Harris. Man, that's just tough. They've had so many chances, especially from 3, and they just cannot hit a 3-point shot in the second half. 1 for 6 from 3. 5:40 left to go. Baylor going to slow it down. 12-point lead. They've never led by 14 or greater. Largest lead with 13. Keontae George at the top. George crossover, shoots the 3 ball. Missed off the back rim. McCullough with a defensive rebound. We'll see here with Kansas with an opportunity. Off the board by McCullough. Gives it off to Harris. 5:08 left to go. Attacks. Missed the layup, too tall off the glass. Man, just a struggle offensively in this game for Kansas right now. The wheels have just fallen off. Like Baylor playing some great defense contesting these shots. This is not the Baylor team we saw 1 month ago against Marquette, which got lit up for 95+. And a foul picked up by Kansas around the perimeter. I think it's going to be charged to Wilson reaching or around the perimeter here. Yeah, that's on the Wilson. That's going to be his 4th. The wheels right now are just falling off. So this sends Baylor double bonus to the free throw line. Flo Thamba will shoot 2. Man, I thought this game would be close. I thought, based on the last couple weeks for the Big 12, where we've had a bunch of close games, I thought this would be another one-possession game, and wasn't the case. Ever since Baylor got a couple big calls their way, it's been the Bears ever since. Second free throw missed off the rim by Thamba. This is currently tied for the largest lead of the game. Under 5 left to go. Make it a layup as it cuts it to 11. Jalen Wilson weaves his way right into the paint, drives past the entire defense and scores. 19 now by Wilson. Baylor once again will slow down tempo. Over to Bridges. Hands it off to Flagler. Flagler dribbles to the edge of the Baylor logo. 10 on the shot clock. Makes the pass off to Cryer. Cryer, dribble, drive, penetration, down the lane, reverse hand layup. Missed off the glass, no good. Here goes Kansas. Looking to run out in transition. Harris moves it out to the wing. Catch and fire 3. Yesafu, no good. Off the front rim, McCullough with a putback. He's lucky that ball just slid in there off the rim. It almost looked like he was going to lead it short off the putback, but McCullough with a rebound as well. That's a double-double, 12 points, 10 rebounds for him. Under 4 minutes left to go now. Baylor, 9-point lead. As they will drive, float it up. It's well short. They did not get the foul call that time to benefit them. George missed a shot down low. And Kansas will take a timeout with their possession coming up. 3:41 left to go. Game's getting interesting right now. 9-point game. Kansas can cut it down to 7 or 6 when a made field goal coming up after the timeout. All right, if you guys are new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. Feel free to ring that notification bell if you guys would like to be notified for future live streams I cover. I cover basketball action here on the channel, both play-by-play of college hoops and NBA games. And feel free to come back tomorrow night if you guys like the NBA. I plan on covering Celtics versus Heat tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's just been Grady Dick that's been the lone player stepping up offensively for Kansas in the second half right now. 12 points by Dick, 5 for 7 shooting from the floor. Other than that, Wilson hasn't been able to go off tonight. Just 5 points in the second half for Wilson, up to 19 total. Dick, the top scorer, with 20. And Baylor hasn't shot the ball well either in half two. 30% shooting, but the difference in the second half has been free throws made. Baylor, 14 attempted free throws in the second half. They made 11, whereas Kansas, perfect 4 for 4 at the free throw line. They've got called on 12 personal fouls in the second half, and Jalen Wilson's, or they downgraded it. 1 second, he's picked up 3 in the second half. He's got 4 currently. Yeah, he's got 4 currently in the game for Wilson for fouls. Everybody else playing with 3, 2, 1, or 0 right now. Earlier on, though, is the 3-point shooting that was the big difference maker. Why Baylor got out to the lead that they did. Now it's just been rebounding. Second chance points and rebounding. That's been the difference in this game now for Baylor. Baylor 13-4 in the second chance points today. 15-8 on the offensive glass for Baylor. That comes as quite a shock. I don't think their numbers didn't look that strong rebounding this season for Baylor, because they were known more to be about like their backcourt. Perimeter-oriented team. Right now we have 3:41 left to go. So 3:41 remaining. Kansas will have the basketball coming up out of the timeout. 1 timeout for Kansas and 3 timeouts for Baylor. Baylor has picked up 6 personal fouls in half two. Kansas has picked up 12. Yeah, there were a couple of calls that went against Kansas, and it really just took them out of the game. There was one play, it was a 3-point play that Baylor scored on, that one of the players scored in the post, lowered a shoulder into a Kansas defender. They called it a blocking foul. And at that point, that just led to a long run by Baylor at that point. I have to believe it when I see it there, Vaughn, because that would be a no. We get back to action. 3:41 left to go. Inbound Kansas. Down by 9. We'll see if they can cut it here to 7 with a layup. They do. Jalen Wilson driving right to the rim past the defense for 2. 3.5 left to go. Wilson up to 21. He's going to need 30 if he wants his team to win this one. Baylor has it on the outside with Keontae George. George makes the pass, the right wing off to Flagler. Flagler guarded by Joseph Yesufu. Currently in the floor. Flagler at the low block. Turnaround. Tough shot. High arcing. Missed off the front rim. Tipped up over to Harris for the defensive rebound. Harris pushed it up the floor. Got intercepted, though, by Flagler. He moves it over to Bridges. Bridges behind the defense. Throws it down with a thunderous two-handed jam for Baylor. 70-61. Wow, that's a big swing. Could have been a 5-point game if Harris had taken care of the ball as he went for an outlet passing up, picked off. There goes Dick as he turns the corner and scores. 7-point lead by Baylor now. 2:35 left to play. Grady Dick with 22. Down the far side, they're able to gather it by Flagler. Over to Cryer at the wing. They will slow it down into the hands of George now. 2:20 left to go. 12 on the shot clock. They put it back over to Flagler. Flagler at the edge of the Baylor logo. He's guarded by Dick. 5 in the shot clock. Flagler, dribble, drive, attack. He gets blocked. McCullough comes out with a huge block. McCullough gives it over to Harris past midcourt. And McCullough gets knocked down and fouled. And they're going to go to the bonus. Yeah, Kevin McCullough a little bit slow to get up right there. Ooh, Keontae George. He needs a moment right now. He might have got hit in the face area by Keontae George. Flagler took the jumper, got blocked by McCullough. Ooh. Was there an elbow by McCullough there? Oh, yeah. Referees didn't see the elbow by McCullough. McCullough dribbling up the floor, threw out the left elbow on the face of Keontae George. It's going to be Kevin McCullough, though, who will go to the free throw line. George got called in the reach and fall right around midcourt, so that's going to be George's fourth. Now Kansas heads to the bonus. 1-1 bonus by Kevin McCullough. Double-double, 12 points, 12 rebounds tonight. 2:10 left to go. Perfect 6 for 6 at the line, and he makes a 7 for 7, hits the first one. Julius, thanks so much for joining in, man. So many close games Kansas has played this season. A couple minutes ago, they were down by 13. Second free throw is a make. It's now a 5-point game once again. 2:10 left to go. 10-2 run by the Jayhawks, last 2:40. And Baylor gets a quick inbound, and they will take a timeout. So 2 timeouts now for the Bears, one by Kansas, as Baylor will burn a timeout here with 2:10 remaining. Almost 50 watching right now. If you guys are new in the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe, and ring the notification bell as well. Who'd you like to, if you like to come back for future live streams, hit us up in the chat, by the way. Who you guys are rooting for tonight in this one here. Baylor or Kansas, type it up in the chat. Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk, or Sick'em out in the chat here. What a game between these two teams. Kansas trailing 99% of the night. Cuts it to 5 with 2:10 left to go. Keontae George with 4 personal fouls, 4 as well for Jalen Wilson. Grady Dick, 22 points, having a strong game, 8 for 12 shooting, 2 for 4 from the perimeter. Jalen Wilson, 21, 9 of 15 from the floor, making 3 threes. And then Kevin McCullough, double-double, 14 and 12, perfect, 8 for 8 on his free throws. Kansas, as a team, is perfect tonight, 14 of 14. Baylor at the charity stripe, 15 of 19 as a team. LJ Cryer, 22 points, 19 in the first half. And Adam Flagler right behind with 17 points. King Markey, welcome back in. It's been a great game tonight. Looked like it was going to get out of reach. 13 down twice tonight. Kansas had been trailing by 13 points. This will be a monster comeback if Kansas somehow is able to come from behind and win this game. Baylor will get the inbound. 2:10 left to go. Bears inbound it in their backcourt. Langston Love is currently on the floor with Jalen Bridges, Adam Flagler, LJ Cryer, and Flo Thamba. They're able to cross midcourt. Into the hands now of Flagler. 1:55 left to go. 12 in the shot clock for Baylor. Flagler, guarded by Harris, puts the ball into the hands of Thamba around the perimeter. Hands it off to Cryer. 5 in the shot clock for Baylor. They will rise for the 3 by Cryer. Missed off the back rim. Battle for the rebound. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Dick of Kansas. And it will stay Baylor basketball. Great effort by Grady Dick, though, as he flies right into the front row of the camera crew on Media Row with their laptops with the reporters at the reporter table. 16-8 offensive rebounds tonight in favor of Baylor. 1:39 left to go. Baylor gets the inbounds. Handoff from Thamba to Flagler. And Baylor has another timeout they will use. They'll use one here. 1 timeout left for Baylor's. They got trapped in the corner. And now they're down to 1 timeout. Woof. -7 fantasy points right there. Baylor looking to close it out, up by 5. They've led by 13 points twice against Kansas today. One of those leads was with around 7 minutes left to go. In the second half, they led by 13 points, and Kansas is able to cut it to 5. It's a 10-2 run by Kansas. So both teams with 1 timeout left to go. Baylor in a double bonus, Kansas in the bonus, and Baylor's stone cold. They started off the second half cold. Once again, right now, last couple minutes, they are 1 for 9 in their last 9 shot attempts. Kansas perfect 3 of 3 in their last 3 shot attempts. 1:36 remaining. Baylor underneath their hoop will get the inbound. Thamba, Cryer, Flagler, Bridges. Love, the 5 on the floor currently for Baylor. Yesufu, Harris, Dick, Wilson, and McCullough, the 5 on the floor for Kansas. KJ Adams currently on the bench for the Jayhawks. Dribble, drive, attack. Love puts it up and missed the layup, but he got contacted and fouled. So Langston Love will head to the free throw line, shoot 2 shots. And that'll be a blocking foul picked up on Kansas, charged to Joseph Yesufu, and that'll be Yesufu's second. Langston Love, perfect 2 for 2 today at the free throw line, will shoot 2. First one he makes. Both of these teams have done a great job tonight making free throws. Baylor has only missed 4 free throws as a team, 81% at the line, 17 of 21. Langston Love, X factor in the game. He's got 11 points, all in the second half. The depth of Baylor been a difference maker tonight. Bench points 13 to 2 in favor of the Bears. 1:20 left to go. Kansas needs something quick. Wilson floats it up in the key. He scores off the runner. 5-point game once again. 1:15 remaining. Baylor will get the inbounds. Inbound in the backcourt for the Bears off the Flagler. Gives it over to Cryer. Cryer, great free throw shooter, moves it down the far side of the floor for Baylor. Cryer off the Flagler. 1 minute even on the clock. Kansas will not fall just yet. 15 on the shot clock. Kansas will have to force a stop to continue to play, it looks like, in this game. They put the ball into the hands of Langston Love, who's been automatic at the free throw line today. Love dribbles, drives, attacks, puts it up over Dick. No good off the mark. Tipped off the backboard, and the rebound picked up in the offensive rebound for Baylor, and they get fouled. Just been that game for Kansas tonight where they cannot get enough offensive rebounds. Baylor so hungry in the glass tonight, especially in the offensive board. Second chance points, and Baylor off the second chance rebound picks it up, and Jalen Bridges draws the blocking foul. 16 to 4. 16 to 4 is the second chance points in favor of Baylor. It's 17 to 8 in favor of the Bears tonight in offensive rebounds. Jalen Bridges, 2 free throws, and the first one's good. This Baylor team peaking at the right time, looking for 5 in a row. They're 40 seconds away from doing so. Second one missed too long. Kansas will have to get the rebound they do if they want to continue. Defensive board, 35 seconds left. Urgency needed for the Jayhawks. Off to Wilson. Wilson at the wing. A lot of time being used right now. They give it over to Dick. Deep range 3. Curry range. Missed off the front rim. And the rebound secure by Bridges as he gets fouled with 22.8. 2 shots coming up by Baylor. 22.8 seconds left to go. Second half. Rebounds. This Baylor team has crashed the glass tonight. Jalen Bridges, 9 points, 9 rebounds, the biggest one of the game. Baylor had 8 players play tonight. Every single player recorded at least 2 rebounds. .8 seconds left to go. Jalen Bridges will shoot 2 at the free throw line. First one's good. Baylor has found their rhythm. Their defense. Their defense getting significantly better. Miles better from where they were 1 month ago. All 5 losses this season, they've allowed 77 points or greater. Dick with an up fake. Dick fading away. As we have a foul on the floor. I think it's going to be charged on the reach-in picked up by LJ Cryer and not on the shot. So this should send Kansas to the 1-1 bonus. Hey, thanks so much, Italiano, for joining in, man. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, feel free to join in tomorrow if you guys would like. I plan on covering Celtics against Heat tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. tip-off. Grady Dick in the bonus at the free throw line. 1-1. First one is good. Grady Dick had a great game. Another solid game by Jalen Wilson. Not his best like the last two last week, but right around his season average. He got 23, so he's above his season average tonight. But KJ Adams didn't really have an impact tonight at all. Just 4 points today by KJ Adams, and only 2 points off the bench throughout the entire game by Kansas. 75-69, 10 seconds left to go. Baylor pass midcourt. Kansas will not foul, and Baylor's, the whole crowd goes up on their feet. White out here in Waco, and this team has now won 5 straight in a row in the toughest conference of America. So tough to pick up wins on the road, especially out in the Big 12, and the Baylor Bears pull out the victory tonight, 75-69 over Kansas. The perimeter did it early, and then just an absolute menace on the glass for this Baylor team today. Second chance points, out-rebounding Kansas. Hustled a ton more. They look like they were the hungrier team tonight. LJ Cryer, 22 points. He had 19 in the first half. 17 points by Adam Flagler, one of the top backcourts of America. Langston Love, the X Factor. That's the reason why Baylor won. Langston Love comes in off the bench. 11 points in the second half. Baylor scores as a team 13 bench points. Kansas with just 2 bench points today. Jalen Bridges, 11 points. Came up with a massive rebound late. Finished with 9 rebounds. Keontae George, 8 points for the top scorer this season on the team. But his other teammates really picked him up in this type of game. Jalen Wilson, 23 for Kansas. Grady Dick finished with a team-high 24. Ken McCullough, double-double, 14 and 12. But it was just those 3. After that, everybody else 4 points or less. KJ Adams, question mark really about his impact tonight. Wasn't really there. Just 4 points by KJ, and DeJuan Harris just 2 points and 4 assists. He had 4 turnovers. That's the floor general for the team. And just a lot of question marks behind Jalen Wilson with his team in scoring in terms of consistency with scoring, and Baylor finding it right now. They are spiking at the right time. 5 in a row for the Bears, and their defense looking much, much better than it was a month ago. Thanks so much, y'all, for joining in, being a part here on the stream tonight. Before I wrap up, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe, ring the notification bell if you guys would like to be notified for future live streams. I plan on being back tomorrow covering Celtics against Heat, 7:30 p.m. Should be a great matchup there. And we're going to close out to the channel members before I wrap up here. All channel members get a shout out at the end of each and every single one of my live stream. We got Jason, Rajeep, Russell, Oreo Pudding, Bradley, Braden, Mario, Bino, Mark, John, Kenneth, Jess, Ahino, Joseph, Vegas, SG Sports Talk, Michael, Warren, I Am Ghost, Kelly, Asia, Laszlo, Roderick, Reynaldo, Didi, Katie, Seago, Woopig, Ian, Oink Oink, and Emmanuel. Thanks so much, all, for joining in. Baylor picks up the victory. Big 12 conference play, 75-69 over Kansas. Thanks so much, all, for joining in, and enjoy the rest of your night.